Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week, we have a new 10-minute Forspoken gameplay trailer. And for me, some of the voice acting was a bit underwhelming, but it does have an interesting story concept, and the combat looks fun. They revealed that spells will require different levels of mana, which can be earned from leveling up as well as found across the map, and you use it to unlock new spells. And a lot of the spells look pretty cool, and it'll be arriving on January 24th, 2023. And if you pre-order it digitally on the PS5, you'll also get an in-game cloak, necklace and a nail set. I know the game is getting a lot of hate online at the moment, but I for one, I've still got it on my list. But we also received a 25-minute gameplay trailer for High on Life, which is the game made by Squanch Games and Justin Roiland, and it still looks goofy to me, but maybe that's the point, I don't know. They did have some good jokes in there, including some satirical bits. It seems that the weapons have the best lines. But also in the news we have Sony revealing PlayStation's player stats. During this year's Computer Entertainment Developers Conference, Sony gave a presentation that gave us new insights into its player base. The new details share gaming habits by region, with figures for the US, EU and Asia. The presentation reveals that PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 players in the US play the most titles per year, 10.7 on average, whilst also having the lowest percentage of trophies. Alternatively, Japanese players play the least games, with just 5.9 titles on average per year, whilst earning the most trophies per game. Despite these high trophy counts though, other Asian territories and the EU have the highest percentage of platinum trophy unlocks. These figures suggest that Americans are more likely to pick up more games and then drop some, whereas Japanese players are more likely to stick with a few games and just play them a lot. This hypothesis is further backed up with the playtime stats, as Japanese gamers will play games for almost 2.5 times longer than American gamers will. Japanese and EU gamers are more likely to buy the disc-only version of games than other regions, and gamers in the US and other Asian territories are more likely to be digital-only compared to others. But across the board, digital-only purchases are higher than the physical-only purchases in every region. Sony have also acquired Savage Game Studios, which is a mobile game developer. The financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but Savage Games will be joining the newly created PlayStation Studios mobile division, which will focus on creating games based on a new existing PlayStation IP. Sony says the new studio will operate independently from console game development and aims to reach new audiences and give gamers more ways to engage with its content. Savage Game Studios is already working on a new unannounced AAA mobile live service action game, and Sony says it's too early to reveal more about this upcoming game. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what that game will be. But Sony has once again launched another revised PS5 model that's more lightweight than previous models. The new models began appearing in Australia, so it should be distributed in other countries shortly. The new disc model weighs 3.9 kg. The 2021 revision weighed 4.2 kg, with the original model weighing in at 4.5 kg. The digital PS5 has a similar weight loss, with the 2022 revision now weighing 3.4 kg, while the original was 3.9 kg, which means that the new models of the disc version of the PS5 now weigh the same as the original digital PS5 model. Sony's 2021 revisited PS5 models claimed that a change in the heatsink made up for the extra weight reduction. However, no specifics have been stated for the weight reduction of the new models, so we'll have to wait and see. Sony have also increased their stake in the developer From Software, along with Tencent, also increasing their stake in the developer. In a recent announcement, From Software's parent company Kadokawa Corporation, which remains the majority owner of the developer, confirmed that Sony now owns 14.09% of From Software, while Tencent now owns 16.25% of the studio. Kadokawa says that the aim of the sale is to proactively invest in the development of more powerful game IP to strengthen From Software's development capabilities, and strengthen its capabilities to develop and deploy mobile games and other network technologies in the global market. Last year, Sony also acquired a 1.9% stake share in Kadokawa, which is completely separate from this increase in their stake in From Software, but it's still worth keeping in mind. Over on Xbox side of things, Microsoft has officially confirmed the Xbox Game Pass Family and Friends plan, which will allow up to 5 people to share a subscription. The Friends and Family plan is now available for all players in Ireland and Colombia. Friends and Family allows Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers to share their subscription with up to 4 other players. With the Friends and Family plan, all 5 members will enjoy the benefits of Game Pass Ultimate with their own unique access to all Game Pass Ultimate games, content, and benefits, regardless of what device they play on, though all players need to live in the same country. All the people you invite can play at the same time, you can even play together in the same game, and you can also include friends and family outside of your household, as long as they're in the same country as you. However, naturally, this will cost more than a standard Ultimate Pass, Currently, an Ultimate Game Pass subscription costs €12.99 or £11.25 per month, while the Friends and Family Game Pass will cost players €21.99 or £19. Existing Ultimate Game Pass members can trade in their existing subscription at a rate of 1 month for 18 days of the Friends and Family plan. Players can only be part of one Friends and Family plan at a time, and the primary account can invite a maximum of 8 people per year. Invited players can only join up to 2 groups per year, and Microsoft has yet to confirm when the plan will roll out to the rest of the world, saying that future countries might be added in the next months. Sticking with Microsoft though, the UK's Competition Markets Authority has announced that following an initial investigation, it is prepared to open an in-depth Phase 2 inquiry into Microsoft's $68.7 billion deal to acquire Activision Blizzard. The CMA is the UK's antitrust regulator responsible for maintaining the competitive integrity of markets. The opening of the second stage of the investigation is not a done deal though, as the CMA may decide not to proceed if Microsoft and Activision Blizzard provide sufficient undertakings before the deadline of September the 8th. In a press release accompanying the full report, the organisation says it is concerned that the deal could harm rivals, including recent and future entrants, into gaming by refusing them access to Activision Blizzard games or providing access on much worse terms. The Senior Director of Mergers at the CMA, Saoirse O'Carroll, said, "Following our Phase 1 investigation, we are concerned that Microsoft could use its control over popular games like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft post-merger to harm rivals, including recent and future rivals in multi-game subscription services and cloud gaming. If our current concerns are not addressed, we plan to explore this deal in an in-depth Phase 2 investigation to reach a decision that works in the interests of UK gamers and businesses." Microsoft's Phil Spencer has previously stated that it's a long process with a number of government approvals required, and they still believe the deal is most likely to close in Microsoft's fiscal year ending of June next year. And he has also said that Call of Duty will remain available on all platforms, not just Xbox when released, which obviously is the right business move anyway, because that opens up the potential market for higher profits rather than cutting people off, because that will just lower your profit margin. But over on Steam, indie developer Cowcat accused several Steam curators of trying to scam it out of free codes for their game Brock the Investigator, and then publishing negative reviews after realizing that the codes were actually for a free demo rather than the game. This review revenge tactic appears to have backfired, because 3 days after a Twitter thread and a Reddit post called attention to the bogus reviews gained traction, all the curators in question have been banned by Valve. The scale of this curator scamming problem is unclear, but Valve has made no official comment about the curator bans. Over on Ubisoft's side of things though, they've decided to make an announcement that the process of decommissioning older games has been delayed to give people one final chance to get the content that's going away. The decommissioning has been moved from September the 1st to October the 1st, and until that date, any single-player DLC for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 3, Far Cry 3 and Splinter Cell Blacklist will be available to download and keep. As long as you activate it before October the 1st, you can continue to access and play the add-on content without interruption. Single-player DLC on console versions of those games won't be impacted, and will continue to be available to access and play beyond October the 1st deadline. Ubisoft has also confirmed that Anno 2070 will be getting an update that will enable the game to operate in single or multiplayer mode beyond the shutdown date. The only game that got delisted on September the 1st, as originally scheduled, is the multiplayer-only Space Junkies. Also in the news, Arcane studio founder Rafael Colantonio, who left Arcane in 2017, said in a recent Academy of Interactive Arts and Science interview that Bethesda's insistence on using the name Prey for their 2017 title was very hurtful, and ultimately helped convince him that it was time to go. He said, "I did not want to call this game Prey. I had to say I wanted to anyway in front of journalists, which is not my pleasure. I hate to lie, and those are sales lies. It's not like a personal lie or whatever, but it still felt bad that I had to support a message I did not want. Not only for me, but nobody in the team wanted to call this game Prey. Our game had nothing to do with Prey. I'm grateful that a company will give me the means to make a game and trust my ability with so many millions of dollars, but there is a bit of the artistic creative side that is insulted when you tell the artist, your game is going to be called Prey. You go like, I don't think it should. I think it's a mistake. It's a sales mistake, because we're going to get backfires from the original Prey fans. These ones aren't going to be happy, and then the ones that didn't like Prey, they're not going to even look for our game, so they're not going to find our game. So that was part of an, I gotta go at this point, because I'm not in control of my own boat at this point. He also called the decision a kick in the face of the developers of the original game, and said that he's often wanted to apologise to the team for doing it. He said, "It never was our intention to steal their IP and make it ours. Everybody lost, and the sales were horrible, by the way, of Prey. It was not a good decision." And yes, I'm not sure why Bethesda would want to insist on having the game called Prey when it has nothing to do with Prey, especially when Bethesda previously teased a sequel to Prey, but never delivered on it. It just creates a lot of confusion for no reason. It could have had its own unique title, and there would have been much more interest, and there would have been a more clear understanding as to what exactly the game is, since it has nothing to do with Prey. But in other news, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is a spiritual successor to Sega's Jet Set Radio, has now been delayed until summer 2023. The delay was announced by developer Team Reptile with a Twitter statement outlining why the game has been delayed, which says, "We are convinced that releasing the game this year will not take it to the level we would be personally satisfied with. To create a fulfilling and unique game, we are extending the development of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk to summer 2023. So it's not quite up to scratch for them to be satisfied enough to release it, which makes for a very justified delay, in my opinion. But we also have Victoria 3, which is the long-awaited next entry in the Paradox line of grand strategy games. Now finally has a release date, and it's set for October the 25th. Confirmation of the release date for Victoria 3 comes alongside an extensive gameplay reveal from the game's developers. Victoria 3 was confirmed as a Day 1 addition to PC Game Pass alongside its original announcement last year. However, Victoria 3 is no longer set to be released on PC's Game Pass. A representative of Paradox Interactive released a statement saying, "The game will be a Steam exclusive at the release. After discussion with our partners, it was decided that Victoria 3 won't be part of Game Pass or Microsoft Store." What exactly brought them to that decision is unknown. I would assume it's possibly to increase the initial profit margins, because if it's on Game Pass, it's free for those people. So at least this way, it means that people can buy the game rather than just get it for free. But that is pure speculation on my part. In other news, Hogwarts Legacy has a PlayStation exclusive quest. In a Twitter thread clarifying the different versions of Hogwarts Legacy and what comes with them, the game's official account revealed that PlayStation editions of the game comes with an exclusive quest, while pre-orders of PlayStation editions also get the Felix Felicious Potion recipe. So if you want the game on PlayStation, you will be getting a couple little extra things. In other news, at Gamescom this year, not only was Sonic Frontiers shown off, they also had a playable demo for the game for anyone who was in attendance. However, the Gamescom's Sonic Frontiers demo had a 15-minute time limit, but according to fans who got in during the first few days of the show, Sega didn't disable the game's autosave features on the show floor, which meant that people could keep progressing beyond the 15-minute section of the game, which led to them uncovering secrets that were not yet meant to be public. So naturally, people began filming everything and clips started circulating online, which then resulted in Sega banning any filming at the booth to minimise spoilers making their way online, which is fair enough. And I would assume they also disabled that autosave feature as well, and then reloaded a save at the start of the demo point. As for our final story, the Indonesian developers at indie game studios Toj Productions and Mojikan Studio announced that their new point-and-click adventure game, A Space for the Unbound, is indefinitely delayed following their contract termination with publisher P-Cube Games. The developers were moved to terminate their contract with the London-based publisher, which would have handled console publishing in Western regions, after feeling manipulated and exploited at its use of an unnamed diversity fund. The developers wrote in a PR email, "At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in August 2020, P-Cube Games used our position and heritage as developers from Indonesia to obtain a diversity fund from a well-known console platform. However, instead of giving those funds to the developers as the grant was intended, P-Cube Games intentionally withheld information about the grant and used it as leverage for their own commercial gain. Rather than paying the grant money to us, P-Cube Games hid the facts about the grant's awards and added it to the recoupable minimum guarantee, and then used it to negotiate the increase of their revenue share. The developers say that P-Cube Games is refusing to grant them control over the console publishing again, and so A Space for the Unbound's delay comes from the team's desire to make new arrangements to ensure that it's published as intended and in a way that's consistent with them and their community's values. P-Cube has responded to the accusations, claiming that they've honoured all obligations of their publishing agreement and have supported Toj Productions at every stage of the product development throughout their delays and difficulties. P-Cube goes on to say this support has included offering significant further funding over and above the grant funding to support development, porting and marketing. Toj Productions have sought for some time to enforce unreasonable revised terms to our agreement, and it's disappointing that as a result of not achieving that, and despite P-Cube's significant efforts to accommodate this, they've sought to deal with the matter in this way. We will respond through the appropriate channels. P-Cube did not clarify the status of the diversity funds or even elaborate on the Toad Productions' unreasonable revised terms at the time of recording, and the developers also ask that players not boycott or review bomb P-Cube, as doing so will affect the developers who created the game and have nothing to do with the situation with the Space for the Unbound. Now, personally, I believe that if you're going to make these kind of accusations or statements, regardless of which side you're on, you should at least release receipts backing up your claims, and since we have no receipts from either side, we can't say who's in the right. If any receipts get released or any more information comes out about this situation, I will update you in a further episode, but that's all we have time for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed, please leave it in the comment section below as always, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.